Hey there, y'all. It's Tryst. Hoping y'all have a great day of bliss. And usually y'all see me on the Not Your Normal Discussion podcast. Today I wanted to, start my channel with a little reflection on some of the things that have been happening in this city. It's kind of funny that New York had its worst terrorist attack on the subway since fucking 9/11. And yet a week later, kind of nobody cares. And it's because, shit is getting wilder in the pandemic. We got more cops, but do people really feel safe? And it's because, sorry about all the wind, I know it sucks for my first video, but it's because cops don't make you safe. So right now, I'm standing in front of this abandoned building next to where I live, and behind me, that's where the homeless people, the unhoused people that, I was bringing meals to off and on for the past, I want to say 3 weeks, have been getting violently arrested and kicked out, living on the streets, because Mayor Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, says basically his plan to keep them safe and to keep the city safe is to basically harass homeless people with the cops. Basically tear down their tents, harass them on the subways, even calls a subway safety plan. When they harass them and take their tents and take their blankets and everything like that, they'll come through with homeless outreach to see if they want to go to shelters and safe havens, which, funny and convenient that that's your solution after you take their shit. It's like real gangster, here, we take away the shelter you already just had. Do you want us to provide shelter in a crowded fucking place where you're housed like a criminal, where security guards aren't going to help you, will often steal from you, will look the other way while people are fighting you and stealing your shit, and you have a curfew and are told when you can come and go like you're a child. So this is the building where they're sleeping. I wish I could just click, but across the street, I don't know if you can see, there are cameras, but if I wasn't out here trying to end up clicks myself, I would open this up so that people can actually fucking, be outside of the elements. And imagine the city did that. This place right here, there's a long history. I'm going to tag a video below in the description about a protest group who 10 years ago, talking about the history of a building that's come to be known as Charros El Bohia, where this place has been basically abandoned for 20 years now. You've had kids will come in and I guess explore the place. My ass ain't climbing up over no motherfucking scaffold and chains and shit like that to go explore no motherfucking rat infested place. But back in the day, this used to be a school for a lot of white immigrant children from Europe, and then it was closed down, and it was a gang that actually worked with the community to open this place up and make it a community center. And in making this a community center, you had literacy and education for the children in this neighborhood. You had a studio space for people making art. And you just had a movement that was fighting and advocating for housing rights and tenants' rights and everything like that. And then a developer came, shut it down, wanted to be a landlord for the people who wanted to use it for studio space, and then wanted to convert this to a hostel for European travelers. And then the city snatched it from him, and their plans are to eventually turn it into a dorm for, college students. But all of that is just, again, to make more money for the city. Imagine if, again, this was about providing for the people in this neighborhood. And people, they're constantly harassing and pushing out people who are unhoused, pushing out people who are in need. You see the cop who came by recently just to check, I guess, see what I'm doing. If I'm surveilling the area, gonna hop over, whatever. But if you want to deal with homelessness, you don't deal with it by crowding people in shelters they don't want to be in. And you don't do it by harassing them with the police and criminalizing poverty. You do it like other countries do, like in Finland or in Austria, where they do basically social housing. The government gives you housing first, and then they offer you things to help work on your sobriety, addiction, mental illness, getting a job. And then once you have a job, you eventually help start paying off the cost, part of the cost of where you're living. That would be a better way to get people back on their feet, back to work, getting the care that they need in a way that we're not forcing them in our current continuum of care system. So that's what we should be doing. Are we going to do that? It's America. Capitalism rules us to the core. We don't see any profit in helping people unless there's profit. So I just wanted to come by real quick and say that. Again, the community that I'm helping, they're often tied to like East Village Mutual Aid. They do a great job of them, and Rent Refusers Network and Washington Square Park Mutual Aid. They'll do a great job of helping provide for people when they've gotten, like I think in the past week, they've had their shit snatched by the cops 3 times in the past week. They were over here. Most recently, if you are on Instagram, you might have seen a video of one of the guys being like carried by the police, hand and feet, and led into a truck. They were over at Thompson Square Park down there, around the corner from the library, for a couple days before they were again harassed. The hammer keeps coming down on them, and hopefully I can find them, bring them meals. I've been cooking meals. If you want to help with that, I'm gonna have my Cashapp in the link below. Donate to that. Let's help make a difference, and to make a greater difference, to help with the jail support that they need, to help with re-providing shelter, because all that costs money to get new tents, new blankets, replace cell phones, replace things that get thrown out and crushed in sanitation trucks. Donate to East Village Mutual Aid at their Venmo, which is East Village Mutual Aid. Donate to Washington Square Park at their mutual aid. But yeah, just find out, if you're in this area, New York or wherever you're at, find out what local mutual aid groups are there. If you have a burden in your heart for people who are the most vulnerable, have the most needs, are the most exposed out here, the most facing violence and animosity from regular everyday people to full-on police, make a difference. Because if the pandemic should have taught us anything, I don't know if you can see me. If the pandemic should have taught us anything, it should be that it doesn't take much to end up out here on the streets. How many people are still living back at home? How many people are living on their friends' couches? That's a form of homelessness, even if we don't talk about that. So let's do what we can. Let's help where we can, and join up where you can, okay?